Your worth is not determined by you being married or not, and your worth is not determined by you having children or not. Regardless of what anybody tries to tell you, it is not. Hey guys, Tazzy Faye here. How is it going? For today's video, I actually posted up a poll for you guys to decide. You guys voted between a couple and you actually chose for me to talk about getting older. Or most of you did, right? It's like oh, now you guys have caught up. It's 17 to 19. But getting older is still winning over materialism. So we will save materialism for another date. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about aging. Yes. And actually, I think Dina recently posted a video about this. So it's going to look like I'm copying, but I'm not. It's just a coinkydink. So yeah, in other videos, I have briefly kind of touched on things like chasing your dreams, dwindling ambitions, age related stuff, especially from cultural pressures, all that kind of stuff. So today we'll get deep about it. A little bit of background for those of you who may not know, I am 30 and I'll be going on 31 in September. I'll be 31 inshallah in September if I make it to September, if we all make it there. Yeah. As you can see, we really took this very seriously, this getting older video, and I'm just showing you the real, okay? Because one thing that I've noticed as you get older, you start to feel more okay with being yourself. Does that make sense? Maybe not everybody feels that way, but I feel that way. And maybe it's laziness. Maybe it's just straight up laziness. But I don't like wearing makeup anymore. I enjoy it. I'm a liar. I enjoy it sometimes. I enjoy the feeling of feeling put together. Now, granted, I do work from home a lot, and even my hobbies, I'm still at home in front of a screen doing this, whatever. So, I don't really feel the need to get dressed up. I do enjoy it when I have to, but on a regular basis, I don't like it anymore. I feel like I used to feel like I had to look put together all the time. And the ironic thing is, I actually feel like I'm better at makeup and all that stuff now than I used to be, when I used to do it all the time. But anyway, yeah, you start to be more comfortable in your own skin. That's something that I've noticed starts to happen. For me personally, I feel like there's a side of me also that I have stopped kind of becoming a people pleaser in some senses. Like if I don't want to do something, I just politely say no. If I don't want to go somewhere, I don't want to do something, I just don't do it. Whereas I feel like when I was in my 20s, I always felt like I had to do things no matter how tired I was, no matter how much I didn't want to do things. And I always ended up feeling like, wow, I just wasted a lot of time. Like I would be sitting somewhere and it would be the most boring thing in the world. And I didn't want to do it. But I felt like, oh, if I want to be friends with these people, or if I have to do these things, or if I want to be important, I have to do these things. And no. And this goes back to my other video about friendship. That's like a different category. Obviously, you have to make sacrifices and do things if you want relationships with people, even if you're bored or whatever. But I don't know. I spent a lot of time just doing things that I didn't want to do. And so I feel like now as I've gotten older, I'm more comfortable with just saying, no, that doesn't work for me right now, and you become really like very protective over your time. Like I now use my time a lot more wisely than I did when I was in my 20s. And I'm sure I could be doing even better. But yeah, that's a big thing that changes as you get older. It might not, but for me it did. One thing that I struggle with is chasing your dreams, because society tells you that at certain ages, you're done. You're over. You are irrelevant, you are uglier, you are useless, you are infertile, like there's so many things in society that don't highlight the beautiful things about aging and getting older. And I feel like there's more negative associated with it because everybody wants to, find the fountain of youth. They want to look like they're 12 years old, but they want to be as mature as someone who's like 60. Yeah. Oh, I didn't show you guys my cup. Let's take a sip of water if you could hear the salivating. That wasn't a sip. That was a gulp. But the truth of the matter is some of that is real, some of it's not. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. I think that to be so naive to think that you are going to have all the luxuries that you had when you're 20 in your 30s and 40s and 50s, that's just not true. That is not true. That can't happen. It's just not how life works. You have to sacrifice something for something. This idea that you can have it all, no, you can't. You pick and you choose and you decide and you prioritize. That's what happens in life. Whoever's telling you like, you can be everything and have everything. No, it's physically impossible. We are limited. We are bound by time. You have to choose things. So I think when you get older, what happens is you're just more interested. There are things that pull you in responsibility. It might not be something that you want to do. You have a category of things that are important to you. And unless you make time for those things, or you make your life in a way that's efficient for you or makes things easier for you to do those things, then it'll be really hard, you know? And I think that's where a lot of people get really down and upset and reflect on the past, because you feel like you can't do the things that you want to do. I have days like that all the time. I feel like as I've gotten older, I have more to lose. I feel like when I look back at it, I'm like, I could have failed and it would have been fine. You know, I had some sort of cushion. Many people in this world don't, but I did. Now that I'm married, I've moved out, I can't just quit my job. Like oh, I hate my job. I used to have that kind of attitude before, and I did it a couple times where I quit. Now I can't do that anymore. And maybe I could, it would just have a lot more consequences, you know? And you can't be as selfish as you are when you're younger, because it really is just all about you. As you get older, you're more tied down, you have more responsibilities. And again, this is not the truth for everybody. There are young people who have huge responsibilities. There's young people who take care of their parents, their grandparents. So this is just not true as like a blanket statement. But I think generally speaking, the way that life is supposed to work, you know, society is built in a way that you're supposed to be finding yourself in your 20s, and 30s is more about like accepting yourself, or like still working hard and working towards your goals. It's less about discovering, if that makes sense. Chasing your dreams as you get older gets tough for that reason, but it also gets tough because I feel like you're expected to mature. People are a lot harsher on you as you get older when you want to make decisions that serve you. It's perceived as really selfish. And so that can be really hard. And your ambition kind of starts to dwindle after a while, because not only from the societal pressure of people being like, well, you're mature and this is what you're supposed to be doing and this is what responsible adults do, but a part of it too sometimes is not even just society. It's like an internal thing that the wiser, the older you get, the more you're just like, what's really important to me? What kind of life do I want to live? Like, do I just want to be chasing money all the time? Do I want to be seeking status and all these like external validation things? Or do I want peace? And many times those two things don't align. They're not in the same realm of things, you know? And so I think as people get older, it's not that they're like these pathetic people who just lost their dreams. I feel like that's what society shows you, that people are like you're just, you just let go of your dreams and now you're a loser because you just live vicariously through your children or whatever, and you project that onto them. I don't think it's that simple. I think it's a lot more complicated, because as human beings, we're very complicated. We think about so much. And so for me personally, the times that I'm finding myself like losing my drive or my will to like really chase things that I really wanted to do, a big piece of it is just I'm kind of happy in my life. So why am I going to make myself struggle? I have peace right now. Why am I going to fight to prove something? I don't have anything to prove almost. I guess life works in a way that it's like up and down. It's not always going to be peaceful. It's not always going to be this, not always going to be that. But as you get older, the things that you want change. It's just the way that it works. The things that matter to you change. You can be really successful when you're young. You could be traveling. You could be doing all the cool things. You could be making money, but you could be really lonely because you haven't really established your roots, or it's hard to keep like a relationship. So, you know, there's a trade-off to everything. But that being said, I also feel like on the other hand, sometimes we get pressured by society to stop chasing or doing the things that we love because we're adults. And I don't feel that way. I feel like it's really important that I still do what I want to do, because I notice that the times that I have time or make time or let the people around me know that like, hey, I have to do this, because if I don't, I'm going to be really cranky, you know? I think it's really important to still value the things that you care about, even if it's just a small thing. It doesn't mean that you have to become like a CEO of a company and sacrifice everything and everyone should just support your dream. I mean, it could be something as small as, hey, I just want 3 hours on a Saturday to film. Hey, I want 3 hours on a Saturday to just go for a hike or to walk, or I would just want to paint in peace for 1 hour. You know, you don't have to let go of the things that you love to do. And part of that requires a support system. You know, you have to have people who support you. But yeah, it does get tougher as you get older. Your ambitions do start to dwindle somewhat because of all the responsibilities in life and all the different directions you're being pulled in and your own growth. You change. And that being said, we have seen many examples of people in life who have achieved things that society deems as amazing or phenomenal or out of this world at pretty old ages. You know, youth isn't the only time that you can succeed in something. It's not the only time. It's not the only hope you have. So I think sometimes you have to have this trust that there's a journey. And I remind myself of this sometimes, that whatever I'm supposed to end up as, wherever this is supposed to take me, like I have full trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I have to, because when I reflect on things in my life, I look back and I'm like, no, I didn't know better. God knew better. So I need to remember that. I hope I'm making sense. I feel like I just talk and sometimes I don't connect the dots, and then I take this little road here and then I take that one, and then I never come back and close the loop. And people are like, what are you trying to say? You know how annoying it is to watch somebody or listen to them and be like, what is your point? But I'm trying to get better at that. Anyway, speaking of which, this is today's sponsored video. Let's talk about it. Thank you, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes online across 150 different countries. It's no secret, I have never been shy about the fact that I am trying to figure out where to take this channel, what to do, how to improve it. I've been using Skillshare to look up classes on content creation, filmmaking, writing, editing, YouTube in general. I found this class called Creating Content That People Love to Read and Google Loves to Rank by Raylene Morey, and I loved it. I even used what I learned to make this video. It's a class that talks about how to craft compelling content for your site. It covers everything from key elements to titles and topics that are going to pull people in, and even how you can repurpose your content. I particularly liked her segment on the key elements of a quality post because it's kind of the same structure that I use, having an intro, a headline, a body, and a conclusion. She also gives really good tips on how to research like a pro, which is something that I've been incorporating more recently into my content. And I love getting other creators' advice, no matter what the medium is that they post in. So if any of you guys have a particular skill that you're passionate about or that you want to know more about and are willing to learn, go ahead and head over to Skillshare. From photography to illustration, cooking, I mean, you name it. You'll find classes that will match your goals and your particular interests. Check out the link in the video description below. The first 1,000 people to sign up using that link will get a free month of Skillshare. All right, now let's get back to the video, shall we? Okay, bye. All right, so let's talk a little bit about becoming uncool, because that is a big thing with aging. Society wants to tell you, you're so worthless once you get to a certain age, right? For women, especially because of biological clocks ticking, fertilities, eggs, women are 100% made to feel like you ain't worth nothing. There is an element of truth in terms of how the reproductive systems work. However, I want to say this directly to my sisters. Your worth is not determined by you being married or not, and your worth is not determined by you having children or not. Regardless of what anybody tries to tell you, it is not. Especially if you are Pakistani or of a similar culture. Okay, I've been there. I'm probably still there because I don't have children. It's not true. Okay, it's just so stupid. Like, human beings think that they can put a price tag on everything, that they can assess the value and blah, blah, blah. Human beings don't know squat. They don't know anything. Period. If you believe in God, I believe in God. Like, you have value. It doesn't matter. God created you. You have value. Regardless, it doesn't matter what people say. People can say whatever they want. They can make you feel like that. But at the end of the day, there's a reason you're here. And sorry, I just got hyped up about that. But it really makes me mad. It really does make me mad. It's like the older you get, you're just no, you're not worthless. You're not. People are stupid. They're worthless. They're not either, but you know. So yeah, so I want to talk about becoming uncool, being able to keep up with trends, all that kind of stuff. I see this a lot on TikTok. People are like, this is tacky, that's this, oh, this is chuggy, this is blah, blah, blah. And like, look, thin eyebrows are coming back in style. Oh, dude, fashion and beauty is so cyclical. It's just cyclical. That's all it is. If you just wait enough time, same with interior design, just wait enough time. Things just go like this. They just come back in style. People are so dense. They really are. When it comes to this stuff, I'm like, you can't be that dense. Can you? Can you really? I've had those comments myself. Oh, you're wearing it like that. Nobody does that anymore. Cool. Don't care. Could care less. And I think that's something that happens when you get older, maybe. I mean, there's still a very real feeling like clinging on to wanting to still be like relevant or cool. Not in this, but just like, you know, the way you dress, the way you, whatever. But it's inevitable. The way that you talk is going to seem cringy at some point. I see it all the time now, like people criticizing the way that YouTube and social media was like 5-10 years ago, and like, oh, that's so cringe. Your stuff is going to be cringe in like 5 years, 10 years. What you're wearing is going to be cringe. So you can say whatever you want, but it's going to happen. Like it happens to everybody. There's going to be a point in time where the way that we talk, yeah, it's going to sound like, oh, you whippersnapper, this and that, you know, that's what it's going to sound like. I don't even know what whippersnapper means. Is that a fish? I think that's a fish. But yeah, I think as you get older, you can understand that everything is just cyclical. Cool is just, who's determining this? Like, whatever. Who cares? But yeah, I think you become a little wiser in seeing like, yeah, I'm not going to renovate my whole house just to be cool so that I can spend $30,000 in 5 years and do the same thing, like just to keep up with trends. But maybe that's a different conversation. Maybe that's a conversation for the video about materialism. But I think that overlooming pressure as you get older, that's definitely there. Like, you're just not cool. That's fine. Oh, you know what helps out? Have a little sister or a brother. Have a little sister or brother. Mu'mina is 11 years younger than me. She kept me cool for a while. At least that's what I think. She used to keep me up to date, you know, with the lingos and all that stuff. So yeah. All right, let's move into like self-image. Well, this is self-image. Yeah, continuing down that path. Gaining weight. I don't know the biology behind this. I don't know the integrative physiology behind all this, but the metabolisms. I gain weight, but part of it is my lifestyle. You lose time, you know, you don't have enough time. You have to pick and choose what's important to you. Right now, I want to say my health is kind of important to me, but it's not at the top. Working out, eating properly, it's not priority for me. And so I think that inevitably happens to a lot of people as well. So it inevitably happens to everybody that they lose control of their body as you get older, right? Like, especially people who get really, you know, as you really, really age, your body starts breaking down. How much can you control it? You know, you can be healthy, you can be like super healthy, live to 100, but it's going to, you know, you can have a better quality of life the more you take care of yourself. But that all comes down to fighting time, priority, what's most important, all that stuff. And I mean, just for me personally, for some reason, it's just not important right now. I hope I get there, but it's just not important. This is more important to me. And if this wasn't important to me, then I feel like I would have more time. And if I didn't have a day job, then I could replace that and keep doing that. You know, we have ideal situations, but I'm not living ideally right now. So, I mean, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. I don't want to say that. Okay, next, self-image. Okay, so people will say this phrase or this term, like, she let herself go. He let himself go. Yeah, that happens when you get older. You'll probably go through phases of that where you let yourself go and you don't recognize yourself and you lose your sense of identity and feeling like you are your best version of yourself. And it all plays into all this, you know, all this stuff, fitness, health, blah, 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 eating, nutrition, time management. And I think as you get older, a very real thing that I feel, maybe people who are younger feel this, but I feel this a lot. I feel like a total lack of control of my life sometimes. Like I am just in a simulation. I am participating very passively. Like, I wake up, okay, gotta scoop the poop, put it in a bag, okay, gotta unload the dish, okay, log on, tick, 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 take phone calls, oh, gotta start the dishwasher, gotta do that. You know, it's like I'm just pressing buttons all day. That's how I feel. And so there are definitely times where you feel like life escapes from you the busier that you get. And I don't even have children yet, so I can't even imagine. But it just feels like you have zero control. Like you're just doing the motions. When you're doing the motions, that can also mentally take a hit on you because you feel depressed and sad that you have no control over your life. So wow, this is going in a very depressing direction. Let's bring that back. Yeah, you lose time, you lose energy. So with that being said, it's not that you can't get control of it. Life is just kind of goes in seasons. You have seasons that you're, on top of the world, and you have seasons where things are not so great and you don't recognize yourself. And I think through it all, the biggest thing that's the best about getting older is that you gain wisdom and insight that you didn't quite understand before. And a big part of all of that is you understand how much you don't know anything. Because when you're younger, like when I was younger, I really thought I knew what I was doing. And I was like, I really thought I knew a lot about the world. If I read something, I was like, yeah, I know this. The older you get, you're like, well, I don't know that as a fact. People say that. There's a science book, but I don't know that that's fact. That made me sound really stupid. But but it's the truth. Like, even with science, even with history, even with whatever, these are all things that are created by human beings and human beings doing work on top of each other's work. COVID is the best example of this. COVID. Dude, nobody knew what was going on. Nobody still knows what's going on. I really feel that way. I'm like, I remember the first month of COVID when people were like, come in the office, don't come in the office. Oh my God, don't touch each other, put masks, stay home. Like, nobody knew what was going on. And I still feel like that has nothing to do with getting older. But I think there's a better understanding of that as you get older. And you get this sort of resilience, like the more that you make it through tough times, like living through these big major world events, the more you're like, oh, okay, we made it. And now this is the world. You have this wisdom that the world is always going to be crazy. I think that's pretty much all I have to say about getting older. This might be a shorter, let's get deep episode, but nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is certain. There's always trade-offs to things. There's pros and cons. Same thing with getting older. Pros and cons. Wrinkles? Con. Wrinkles? Pro. How is it a pro? I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out the links in the video description below. I did upload some new podcast episodes recently, so you guys can check those out. There will be more to come. Sorry, I'm not so great about that, but we're getting there. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about getting older, some wisdoms that you have had, your fears, whatever it may be. And maybe we'll talk about it later. Maybe I'll have a better script next time. But anyway, Tazzy Faye out. Bye.